Welcome to another edition of Unbelievable Right-Wing Dummies Playing with Your Life. There's a really stupid saying in Turkey that says, "What name the disease? It doesn't cut us." AIDS, that doesn't cut us. Nah, I can assure you it does cut you. And so it feels like Alabama Governor Kay Ivey is saying the same thing about coronavirus. Here, I'm going to give you her exact quotes. You can judge for yourself. She's, of course, Republican. Again, if you're outside of America and you don't know our right wingers, our red states, especially in the South, are led by a bunch of geniuses. They are almost all at the bottom of every list we have in the country, every economic accomplishment list, education list, health list, it doesn't matter. They have a miserable record of failure decade after decade, but the good folks down there are like Republicans anyway because God told them to. All right, Kay Ivey says about the coronavirus, y'all, I'm just quote, okay, I'm not making it up. She said y'all. Y'all, we are not Louisiana. We are not New York State. We are not California. Okay, where are you going with this? Okay, well, first of all, congratulations, that's true. That is a factual statement. Okay, are you implying that Alabama's like tougher or something? Alabama's better? Where's this going? All right, let's find out. She says, and right now is not the time to order people to shelter in place. No, actually, this is the exact time to order people to shelter in place. The exact time. So, I guess, based on the context of that quote, she's saying like, "Oh, we're not California and New York. Coronavirus doesn't cut us. We're Alabama. We're tough. We're gonna beat that virus." Okay. The way to beat the virus, by the way, is to stay home. But she doesn't want that. She says businesses need to stay open to provide food, medical care. That's true. That's true everywhere. They're also open in California and New York for those purposes. And jobs. Okay. We all want jobs. We're all worried about the economy. But it doesn't help you to have a job if you're not alive. So she says, we've got to have all the materials that are needed to keep Alabamians working as much as we can. Back to the mines. Okay. Last week, she had a, quote, stay at home if possible directive. So now I tell you that because that's not strong enough, but at the time, there are not a lot of confirmed cases in Alabama. So, I'll take it. Not bad. But now she's apparently changing that directive. Like, oh, don't worry, mission accomplished. Nothing to see here. Okay. Right now there's 538 confirmed cases in Alabama, and 3 people have already died from it. But not only are there very little test kits in America, but almost all of them go to wealthy folks or people on the edge of death. So, or not necessarily edge of death, but people who are really, really sick. Otherwise, you can't get tested. So, Alabama, God bless them, but there are not a lot of incredibly wealthy folks there. There's some, but the population is generally poorer. It just is. And so it's going to be hard to convince me that you've got ample test kits in Alabama and you already test everybody in Mobile and all across Alabama. Okay. Roll Tide. Okay. Tuscaloosa's covered. I don't think Tuscaloosa's covered. I got to be honest with you. Okay. So I think it's a terrible idea to send people back out and to give them a false sense of security. And this whole, but the part where she distinguishes Alabama from the other states is where it gets particularly dumb. Like somehow what we're more vulnerable to it in California or New York. No, you knucklehead, especially if you're not doing social distancing and you're not, giving proper warnings to people as the leader of that state, you're more vulnerable, not less vulnerable. Let's hope you don't find out that the hard way, but I'm afraid that that's where you're headed. So now but Rush Limbaugh is like, oh, Alabama governor, you're going to try to out-stupid me? No, hold my beer. Wait till I give you the context of where Rush Limbaugh is calling in from. But first, let's give you his comments. And he says, we've talked about the deep state all these years since Trump was elected. The Trump-Russia collusion, the FBI, the deep state extends very deeply. And the American people did not elect a bunch of health experts that we don't know. We didn't elect a president to defer to a bunch of health experts that we don't know. And how do we know they're even health experts? Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Yeah, no, Fauci made it up. He's been in the same office since the 1980s, helped push Reagan towards recognizing that AIDS was a real problem. Been faking it all along. All those so-called doctors, they're deep state actors, dude. No, all the people who died from coronavirus, the 1,000 people that have already died in America, all actors, these so-called health experts. How do we even know they're health experts? And what are we supposed to do? Trust health experts in the middle of a health crisis? Yeah, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. Now, look, it doesn't mean that they run the country. By the way, as I do these live videos, I see your comments as much as I can. So, malleable, I think I get the play on words. Thank you for being a TYT member on YouTube. You can do that by clicking the join button down below. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching elsewhere, you could be a member at tyt.com/join. Okay, there you are. But anyway, let me keep going. So, yes, the president makes the ultimate decision, right? And so when Republicans always talk about you got to listen to the commanders on the ground. No, you should take advice from the commanders on the ground, but the commander-in-chief makes the decision, right? If you need to build a bridge, if I'm the president, I'd ask an engineer, right? It doesn't mean the engineer then becomes president, right? But you do ask for their advice and counsel. So should we have the president listening to health experts in the middle of a pandemic? Of course we should. Who would be preposterously stupid enough to say that we shouldn't? Well, we have our answer, Rush Limbaugh. Now you want to know where he was calling in from? Like, it's his show. It's the Rush Limbaugh show. Well, why did he even have to call in? That's because he's sick. Now, he doesn't have coronavirus as far as we know, but he does have cancer. And so I hope he's listening to the health experts as he's trying to fight cancer, because that's the time that you would want to listen to health experts when you've either got cancer or there's a coronavirus epidemic running wild. Get a grip. Thank you for the contribution. Look, these live videos, I got to tell you important information, but I do see your comments from time to time, and I appreciate it. I assume you use YouTube Super Chat for that. That helps the show every time. And guys, we got to do fundraising here. Unlike the knuckleheads on the right wing, we know we got to stay healthy personally and also financially for TYT. So tyt.com/go to make that happen. We appreciate it. So finally, look, it's not one-offs. Glenn Beck talking about getting people back to work, and we can't let the cure be the problem. The same language that Trump used. Rush Limbaugh, obviously you heard the quote, minimizing coronavirus and talking about the deep state as if the deep state invented this, or it's their fault, or they're imagining it, and that we shouldn't listen to healthcare experts, we shouldn't listen to doctors when we've got a pandemic. It's, for the rest of the world, it's probably unbelievably stupid. You just literally can't believe what we do here in America. But in America, we've gotten used to it. So it's like asking a fish, how's the water? The fish says, what water, right? So asking the right wing, how's the stupid going along? They say, what's stupid? They're like, no, there is a deep state, and they're manipulating everything, and health experts aren't necessarily health experts, and when you've got a health crisis, you shouldn't listen to doctors, you should listen to right-wing politicians. And I don't know if Rush practices what he preaches, but if he does, he's in a world of trouble. If you're in the middle of cancer treatment, do not go out, okay? He probably doesn't. He probably is smart enough to know, yeah, I'm just lying to my stupid, gullible audience. That's how I've made all this money. But he's not going to take a chance with his life. But if he does, if he really is stupid enough to believe it, and he goes around high-fiving people in the streets while he's getting cancer treatment, oh, good night, Irene. And anyway, I hope the guy that doesn't happen, I hope he's not that dumb, but he should not lie to his audience. The deep state is not making up coronavirus. Any mention of the deep state in this context is insanity. And the doctors are actual doctors. And if you want to stay alive, you should listen to them. And I saw that we had got a new member. Thank you for joining up. Appreciate it. John Salazar. Look at that. I even figured out what to touch on the screen to get your name. All right, John, thank you for signing up, becoming a member. Again, hit the join button down below if you want to do that. And tyt.com/go to keep Young Turks healthy and sustainable. All right, much love, guys, and stay safe.